Good morning, everyone.
Sure.
Welcome to the Northwest Blacksmith Association digital demo number 27. This one is featuring Lisa Geertsen from Southern Illinois University, is where she's at now. Longtime NWBA member from the Seattle area. Recently moved across country to get involved in this program over at Carbondale, which is one of maybe the only university left in the US that offers a full blacksmithing master's program.
Yes, it is.
And we are, so one, we're lucky enough to get to come and visit the university today for Lisa's demo. And it looks like we're going to be returning there about once a month to visit some of the other students and other metalworking things that are going there. It'll be a nice little snapshot. We'll put some links in the chat a little later that can get you, show you how to go learn more about the university there. Lisa's demo today is going to be based off of a project that was one of the assignments from the end of last year. And this is a picture of something similar to what today's demonstration is going to be. This was a final product, but it starts from a billet that is about this size. This was one of the assignments that the students there got assigned. And Lisa went on to make a whole bunch of different ones, all out of that same size billet. So
hello everyone. Here's a view of the two forges I'll be using today, gas and coal. This is the size of the piece that we started with. So the assignment for the graduates and undergraduates was to take this 3-inch long by 1.5-inch round piece of bar, forge it into a completely different shape where you can't see any of the original stock size, and then make it fit within a 6x6 invisible cube, touching 3 sides. I did some of those, but I also decided to have fun with it and make some sculptures. So I'm just gonna go through, you can see it sitting in front of the forge, waiting, warming up for you guys. I'm gonna pass the camera over to Ben and get started. So I'm just gonna go through the process of making a little piece of art. I enjoy challenges like this, like the Ring a Day projects were a little challenge. There was a 150 millimeter challenge that I've participated in. A lot of other folks have too. So this sort of thing is fun. I like to have a little bit of a boundary and see how far I can go outside that boundary with something like this. So we're gonna see what lives inside this piece of steel today. And in doing so, y'all get to see what an awesome shop we have here at Carbondale. Because I'm going to be working between all 3 power hammers. I'll be starting with the 100-pound. Why do I keep forgetting this, Ben? Is it a 100-pound Kuhn? Yeah, 100-pound Kuhn, 100-pound Sahindler, and a 50-pound Ritter. So I'll be working with all of those. So yeah, I might be a little nervous. I don't know why, y'all. Bear with me.
Can you tell us how big that stock is that you're working with?
How big it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 3 inches long and it's 1.5 inches diameter.
Cool.
And it's just mild steel. So I'm going to turn on the first hammer. What I'm going to do with this bar is first turn it into a piece of flat bar. Heat on that. My goal is to get it to be about 5/8 thick by 1.25 inches wide, because I'm going to use my Anna Coughlin song. So if you guys remember the demo that Anna did maybe a month ago, 2 months ago, I won her songs in the auction and they're perfect for this project. So combining the Ziggy demos here. While that heats up, so I'll talk a little bit about the program here. It's a 3-year master's degree program. It is the only university in the United States that offers any degree in metalsmithing and glassmaking. The metalsmithing department is the jewelry department upstairs. Also, one of the benefits of this program, not only just being a 3-year program, the tuition is waived, and graduate students get an assistantship. So you get a job that allows us to be paid to do work while we're here on campus in our program. So my job is the shop manager. I get to take care of the shop, the schools. I have another, one of the other students in the program is also the shop tech. So between the two of us, we put in 20 hours a week.
So Lisa, I know we did a test this morning and we could hear you just fine with your mask on, but I think when the hammer, it gets a little harder to hear you. So I think I either need you to talk a lot louder or turn the hammer off.
Okay. Well, we're just gonna work then. How's that?
Perfect.
Okay. So like I said, I'm gonna go for about 1.25 by 5/8 for my piece of flat bar here, so I can use those tongs. All right.
Robert Newcomer is asking if you kept your shop in Seattle when you moved. I know the answer to this. We've already kind of started to talk about it in the chats, but you want to give us a little insight on what's going on with Firelight Forge?
So Firelight Forge was, you know, the coronavirus came along and sort of slowed things down, and Firelight Forge was, I was already trying to figure out what to do with that. But so it's kind of a perfect opportunity to have taken a break. The shop is still at Equinox in Seattle. My studio mate, Steve Lafferty, has been still using the space, and another friend of mine has been subletting the space too. So, but both on a limited basis for their needs. So, yeah, I was going to be coming home over winter break, but that didn't happen because of the virus, and it seemed safer and just a better idea to stay put here, which has been great because I've been able to come in and use the shop. But I have heat here on my bar. Is that a good enough question? I'll be coming back to Seattle in the summer. And then we'll see how things go next year. I'm gonna turn on the Sahindler now. So I'm just gonna clean up. I don't really need to clean up this bar very much, but I'm going to anyway because I want to. Flat guys. And what I'm going to do next is use this top tool here. Isolate. Get some more heat on that. So I'm isolating this little mass off the end. That'll be the sort of tail part of the sculpture. One of the things that if you guys have seen my shop in Seattle, I have a little 50-pound mollusk with rounding guys on it. So I don't use a lot of top tools. And so I'm very comfortable with the Coon hammer with its rounding guys. I use it for a lot of things. But what I'm trying to rewire my brain to do is to remember to use all the tools I have here. So it makes everything so much easier. Why struggle when I've got a top tool and flat guy hammer right around the corner? We're going to keep doing that a little bit. I'm going to draw it out. Gently. Set that a little bit more. More heat on that.
Well, and
So,
since this is very beginning to start to take a shape, it's no longer what it was. I'm going to let everybody know Lisa has generously donated this piece that she's making to the NWBA to put up for auction in the chat right now. So I would say let's start some bidding on this. If anybody wants to jump in with an opening.
And I'll say this piece is going to look, it'll look different than the one in the picture, just because what I've been really enjoying with these pieces is what we're calling intuitive forging. As I do the same process, isolate out this little tail and I have the larger mass, and I'll do the pre-shaping on the mass. The final form is going to be whatever it comes to be. So it'll start to take shape. You guys will see what happens, because I like that. It's fun for me. So let's keep getting this. Okay. More heat. I'm gonna use that top tool again to make that a little more narrow right there. And then draw it out a little more. So after that, I'll come back to the tune and draw it out so that I'll flip around and start working on the other end. So one of the things I wanted to share with you guys when that hooked up, probably about 2 years ago, a friend of mine asked me if I thought my work would change if I had the opportunity to use completely different tools to work in the shop that had bigger and better tools, or a different setting, or just having an opportunity to use other things than what I'm used to. And my answer to her without half a thought was yes. And I've only been here for a semester and I'm already seeing my work change. It's great. Hopefully you guys can hear that and understand it.
Yeah, we sure could.
Okay,
I'm surprised that your work is changing and evolving.
Yeah. Okay.
Lisa, I've got a question about the forge that you're running right now.
Sure, let me turn off the power hammer real quick.
So my first question is, do you know what kind of burner that thing's running on?
It's a ribbon burner, and this is a Rick Smith original design forge. So Rick Smith is, if for people who don't know, he's a blacksmith, but he's also the professor here for the blacksmithing program. There is, some parts are castable refractory, some parts are hail wool with rigidizer, and then also refractory around it.
Is that running on natural gas?
Natural gas, yes. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the power, the spoon power hammer and get going on this here. There's some more heat on that.
Well, we've got a couple of questions that have come up. I'm going to start with the easy one that you may or may not know the answer to. Do you know how thick the layer of castable is over the wall in that forge? Like how much refracting is involved?
Oh, Ben is going to try to answer that with a picture here. Oh, and I forgot there's some fire bricks. So can you see the fire bricks there on the side?
Yeah.
So that's passable? Okay, I forgot. So they're tapered. Okay, I've got heat again. So what I'm doing, so I'm going to turn off the hammer. So I'm just going to tidy up that little bit that's as the tail transitions into the mass, and then I'll flip the piece around and pre-shape the mass to spread it out. Was that a sufficient answer about the passable?
Yeah, I think so. And then when you get done with this heat, I think I'm going to ask the next question, which is just a little more in depth.
So, yeah. So now I'm going to put the mass end in the forge and pre-shape the other end of it. Okay, good time for a longer question.
Yeah, it seems like a perfect time while that mass heats up. So Robert Newcomer is maybe looking for a little clarification on earlier when you said, you know, moving to a different shop that had different tooling. And so is it really just the tools that have kind of expanded your artistic ideas and themes, or was it more than just the tools?
Oh, it's definitely more. I will start by saying that the time, along with the tools, those are the two most valuable things at the moment. Being able to have this time to focus on improving my work, exploring new ideas, and using all of this equipment here. My shop is pretty well outfitted, but it's a small shop. I don't have a whole lot of stuff. I definitely don't have 4 power hammers, and I'll show you the 4th one later. So this project in particular why I wanted to use all the power hammers and do this for the demo is because these tools and having the access to them is what inspired me to make these shapes. If I was given this challenge in my studio with the tools that I have, everything would be a whole lot different. And most importantly is the little Ritter power hammer that you'll see. It has fullering dies on it, and that, oh my God. When I first used that machine, I was like, weak in the knees. It's so much fun. I love it so much. And it's made the way I'm thinking about making things differently, just by using that machine in and of itself. But for those of you who don't know my former life in Seattle, I was working 32 hours a week for Pratt Fine Arts Center, managing their entire sculpture department, and basically 32 hours a week for myself is Firelight Forge in my shop. So kind of overworking myself, very fulfilling. All of it was very fulfilling. But I've often, for many years, I felt like my personal work, my artwork is kind of at a point where I wanted to take it further, and I didn't have the time to do that because I needed to do all these other jobs in order to pay my rent and bills and stuff like that. We can all relate. So I decided to take a chance and apply to school and just, see what it's like to push the pause button and have the time. So all of that has really been a big reason for shaping, to change the shape of how I'm doing things, I'm thinking. That's a good answer for Robert.
Yeah, I think that's a great answer, because there is so much that we limit ourselves with time, and I think that's a great aspect of that to address. So Zane makes a comment that there must be a lot of talented classmates, which kind of brings me to a question of how much of your expansion and changing here is due to just, new faces you're working with every day?
That's an interesting question. I'm still just getting to know some of my classmates. Right now I have heat on this piece and I kind of want to take it. But
take your heat. You got plenty of time to
well, it's not, I can answer the question because it's not going to damage the piece. It's the thick end of stuff. So just having other people to talk to and to be around and bounce ideas off of, other people to work with in the shop at the same time that are not coming from the same background or experience level or artistic ideas. Everybody's perspective is different, and it is really refreshing. It's also really refreshing to have the jewelry people involved, because this program is jewelers and blacksmiths, and to have the professors. So we do critiques just like you would expect art school to have. And it's been over 20 years since I've been in a critique, and it's wonderful having the conversations back and forth with people, and what they might see in my work or what I might see in their work. Even just those conversations are really energizing and inspirational. I'm going to take my heat now. I'm just going to explain. So this is going to heat up. So I'm going to let that whole mass heat up, and then I'm going to go to the Ritter. So I do have a little bit of time for a couple more questions.
Yeah. So Billy O is asking, outside of giving yourself time to more explore the artistic side of things, is there a more practical reason for you pursuing a Master of Fine Arts?
Yes. So also, along with managing the sculpture programs at Pratt, I was teaching blacksmithing classes at Pratt. I've been doing that since 2007 or 8. And Pratt is a wonderful place. If you guys don't know, it's a nonprofit art center. Unfortunately, it's not open because of the virus, but that is a place that I could teach and have a job like that without a master's degree. But there aren't very many options. If I wanted to teach at a higher level and create a program where people can actually move through with the skill sets to become professional blacksmiths, that's not really what Pratt offers. As much as I grew that program and designed the curriculum to offer that to people, it's not really what the people who take the classes there do. So this master's degree will help me to, if I decide after these 3 years I still want to pursue a university job or a higher level education somewhere, this degree will help me to have that on my resume and the teaching experience at the university level, which is one of the requirements on a lot of those job applications. That's the grown-up practical part of it. Okay, I have heat on this. You know, it's really nice to have Rick and Son. Son is the professor for the jewelry department. It's really nice to have their input from the professional art university level of things. You know, I've been doing this for over 20 years now, and I have the input of all of you guys from the art background and the professional background and the skill background, but this university art program sorts of things, that's what I got my undergraduate in, and it's kind of fun to be able to talk to other people about that and get allow myself to think that way again. So I'm going to try to get this to be about 1/8 of an inch thick. What I've been doing with these is very carefully spreading it from the mass, kind of seeing what shapes happen on the sides and the edges, and then accentuate them with those dyes.
It seems like you're spreading the mat from the middle of the bar and pushing
Yes.
the material out versus working from the outside.
Yes, absolutely. What I have found is that helps me to have control over it. So especially if I did something very specific to the edges, working from the center out is going to help me control those edges if I want to, but also it helps me not to burn up those edges, which is more important. This forge and the gas forge, if I'm using, I mean the coal forge, if I'm using that one, I don't want to burn the really thin bits while I'm trying to smash the heck out of the thicker stuff. So I'll do that a lot with papering things too. Okay. Then do you just want to go and show everybody what's on the table there? So all of these pieces, except for the glass one, were part of that same challenge for the assignment class. You can see there's two sort of standing up leaf shaped. One of them I think kind of looks like a dog ear. Those were the freeform work with what you got.
So Lisa, Zane is asking if there's any cross-media collaboration going on at the university. Metal and wood. I see you've got a piece on there, steel and glass.
Yeah, so I'll talk a little bit about that steel and glass piece. So with the COVID stuff, we're not really allowed to go in the other studios. But right above the forging studio is the glass blowing shop. So, and being from Seattle, I miss my glass blowing friends, so I make friends with the glass blowers here. And I just wanted to try this out. Steel and glass do not normally like to work well together. So because I wanted to try that, I had to reach out to a friend of mine that I made in the glass grad program. So far, I don't know if they encourage or if they make an effort to have students collaborate. This is a research university, so which means it's very much up to us what we want to study and do within our program. We do have to follow requirements for credit hours, but that was something I wanted to try out, so I made it happen with my friend. Maybe we're going to do some more. That'll be exciting. Hopefully that answers the question. This one I think is going to turn out more like the dog ear shaped one because I just made myself an odd angle on that corner there. Made more work for myself than I needed to. But that's fine, part of the challenge. It sure is fun to spread things out on that hammer. How are we doing on time, Kel?
Oh, we're doing great on time. It is almost 11. You're not even an hour.
Okay, great. So, yeah?
Well, we've got a question about that steel and glass cup, if you got some time to talk about it.
Sure, I'll try.
So Charlie Montrose is asking about that cup and how did you deal with the annealing the glass and avoiding like thermal stresses from when the steel contracted?
Well, we're going to call that luck. So the glass blowers, they heated up the steel with essentially like a V-burner torch, a big fluffy torch, to a dull red before blowing the bubble into it. And then quickly broke it off the punchy and put it in the annealer. It shouldn't have stayed so nice. Like almost every other time steel and glass get put together, it wants to crack and fail. So this piece was, I made it as a sort of a memorial sculpture for a glass blower who passed away last year. So I would just say that he kept it together.
So Lisa, I know that you are currently between semesters. When does class start again?
Classes start on the 19th, so next Tuesday. Not this coming Tuesday, the one after that, right after MLK Day. And we got a very long winter break because they're not going to have us do spring break in order to keep everybody safe from the virus. I don't remember when classes are done for the year. So I'm going to keep thinning this out a little bit. I don't know if you can see the edge is getting, it's getting thinner. I want to really have fun pushing it. So I'm going to keep pushing it at least one more heat, if not two.
So Charlie is asking if the glass is bromosilicate.
Borosilicate. No, it's not. It's just, this glass is, I know what kind it is. It's just a batch glass that they put in the furnace. And it is, what's the name of the town that's right next to Penland? That's where it's from.
And they also comment that this looks like a philodendron leaf you're making.
Oh. I like to make plants out of metal.
Well, and I would encourage anybody who's interested in your work to, beyond the slideshows you got to see, is to hop over to your website. You've got a great gallery there. I'm going to post the link. Yeah.
Okay. I do need to update my website. I think most of the pictures in the slideshow are a lot more current. But, you know, I haven't taken the time to sit there and update my website. But yeah, there's lots of stuff on there.
Yeah, and I would also encourage folks to follow you on like Instagram if they're on that network. You've got lots of cool things to look at.
Yeah.
Deep into the history, you can check out the Ring a Day challenge. Lisa, do you know what your Instagram is, top of your head?
It's Firelight Forge.
Oh, just that easy.
It's that easy.
I know that this shape fits real well in that gas board, but I seem to recall that you're saying cold forges is kind of the first time you've really worked that.
What was your question?
Well, I was just kind of commenting that I know that you have always worked at a gas forges, and the shape you're working with right now and what you're doing works really well with gas, but that you know, coal forges were kind of they're sort of the newer things in your life. I'm wondering how often you're going to coal.
Well, I am learning how to like it. It is a new thing for me to use coal, and so during class, there's obviously other people around. So using this gas forge is perfect for heating up that giant billet. But having the coal forge to work the flat top when other people are trying to use the gas forge is pretty ideal. And also, you'll see when I start shaping that, the coal forge is going to give me more control. If I just want to heat up one part of that, the sheet metal that I've made, then the coal forge is going to be much better in doing that than heating up the whole thing with gas. Feel very grateful to have this privilege to be here, have the opportunity to use this space and the equipment, and to have other people challenge my art making thought process. I'm just gonna sort of go around all the edges and thin it out with the hand hammer, shaping it a little bit as I go. That's what I want to do. It's fun. I was also going to say So I graduated with my undergrad degree in sculpture, fine arts in 1997. So I think if anybody watching is interested in this program, thinks that, you know, it might be good for them, don't hesitate because you think maybe you're too old or you're past whatever. If you have a portfolio and you have a reason for wanting to go back to school, it's really important to at least give it a shot. Because you don't have to go back to teach. You can go back to grow your career, your business, or try a different path. And it's worth it.
Well, Lisa, I just shared the link to the university again.
Awesome. I forgot to look to see when the applications close, but I'm pretty sure they're open right now. And yeah, this is probably the best thing that I've done since moving to Seattle 23 years ago. So I recommend it. 5 stars.
Well, that's a good rating. So Charlie Montrose is asking if maybe you've got plans on gilding that leaf with a brass brush to give it a little more leaf-like coloration.
Oh, that's an interesting idea. That was not part of my plan, but I'd consider it. All right, one more side, and then I'm gonna work on that little tail. I hope everybody had a good winter holiday season. Sure was a different one. So sometimes I like to say, you know, I've got my friends with me when I use my tools. You know, I got Anna, got Grant here with the off-center ones, got Mark Manley here. And there's lots of off-center product tongs in the tool cage here, so it's real nice to feel like I got my friends with me out here.
Well, it's good to have friends.
It sure is.
Lisa, Bart is asking, what was your process to come up with these kind of designs? Do you do any drawing first, any kind of clay maquettes or anything, or you just organically?
Well, actually, Rick, the professor, asked us to do drawings. So some of them, from the pieces on the table, a lot of them were just, let's see what happens when I squish it like this. Let's see what happens when I isolate the mass there. And then from doing that, I got ideas of things that I wanted to sketch out. So I guess some of the sketches were in steel and some of them were on paper.
Well, Bart says that he loves the design.
Thank you, Bart. This one is completely intuitive. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend this part that way. I'm not going to be able to get that really nice 90-degree because I have this little lump there. If I wanted to get that 90-degree, I could remove that lump. But I'm just going to go with it because I feel like going with it.
Phil Stringer says that he likes that you've got your friend Ken Mermelstein's hammer there with you. Is that a Mermelstein?
Oh, actually, it is not Ken's hammer.
Oh.
This is a Tom Clark coffee hammer that I think Ken was patterning a lot of his after. I'm going to have to get another heat and do this to the device a little tighter. Yeah, once I get to put this back in the forge, I can have Ben the camera posted on the maker's mark here for you guys.
And Zane's suggesting a Digi Demo 2020 shirt, so we might have to talk about that.
Oh, he's on it, see? So this is the Tom Clark, and this is the, why can't I read that? Ben has young eyeballs. What does it say, Ben?
I don't know. Ozark School.
Ozark School, yes. So the other hammer that I used to use every day actually has the hockey stamp and the Tom Clark stamp on it. So this one is the same style. I got it at Abana. And I know there's a whole hockey way of doing things, and I just do things my way. But I like these hammers. They're I like the square face. I like the weight. Okay. So I'm going to taper out that tail. I'm going to taper out the tail. And then I'm going to go real quick over to our belt sander, just tidy up those edges. And then I'm going to start forming things. So it should be fun here. See it take shape.
Ken Albert is asking, do other artists of whatever medium ever visit blacksmithing program there? And is there any other mediums that seem to lend itself to help this process?
Well, the girl that's in the glass program has taken some blacksmithing classes, so I think that's a really good way to answer that. We're all encouraged to explore the other programs. Oh, I have a little code shut on that. I'm gonna have to put that off. Let's see how far that goes. Yeah, I'm not gonna fling this at you, am I, Ben? No, you're good.
So Lisa, why'd you cut the end off?
Oh, because I had a cold shut.
Okay.
What's a cold shut? Do I need to say that?
Sure, why not?
All right. Well, I was forging it out, and it must have gotten a little pucker on the end, like a fish mouth. And because that happened, there was a crease that went back in. And I'm not going to try to forge weld that back together today. Ben is calling me lazy for not trying to do that. But that's okay. Y'all will be able to see some forge welding demos from Ben in the future when we get our sim group going. Okay. So I just tidied up the edges. I'm gonna start forming it. When I was doing these or started making these for the assignment, I was just using the tree stump you can see on the other side of the press here, and working it hot. And then I had this little moment of, duh, why don't I use the fly press? Because I can. How fun is it? So I'm going to start curling this around and curling this and sort of working with it and see how those shapes, how I like those shapes. And I think, Helen, were you asking about why would I want to use the coal forge here?
Oh, no, I was just asking if you were getting into using coal.
Oh. Yeah,
Technology.
It's not my favorite for my allergies, but like I can heat up that, I'm gonna hover above it if you can a little bit, Ben. So I can heat up that bottom part down in there and that intersection where the tail is, and kind of isolate that.
So we just closed the auction. Zane Hutchison purchased this for $260, and
Nice.
this says that you gave him his very first blacksmithing job. So,
Oh, I was wondering because I've known one Zane, and that's interesting that it was him. Thank you, Zane. It's nice that you're here.
Lisa Zane is asking if you will put a maker's mark on this.
Oh, everybody's gonna hate me. I don't have a maker's mark. Everybody gives me a hard time.
Well, Zane's saying no, don't do anything that you normally wouldn't do. So
I usually sign it with a paint pen. But I could use the letter stamps. Let's see. But I promise to get a proper maker's mark by the time I leave this place. I'm gonna still form the sheet metal portion. Bend it a little more there. So I'm gonna get the little tail to a place where the piece can sit comfortably, and then I'll form the sheet metal bits. I hope everybody's been keeping it together during this pandemic stuff. I will say it's super helpful to have the ability to be around people. I'm very appreciative of my classmates and the university and every student at the university that has been making an effort to keep everyone safe and healthy. Wearing the mask is mandatory. Cleaning up and sanitizing our spaces is mandatory. And that's what keeps us all able to come in and have fun and play in the studio. So I know that a lot of folks are missing their community these days. Okay, I'm gonna start shaping the sheet metal and mess around with how it sits later.
Charlie is asking if you have worked with stainless steels much.
I have stainless. It's just hard. It makes me frustrated more than mild steel and copper and bronze do. But it is good. I've done more stainless fabrication than I have forging it. Aluminum is much more fun than stainless, I'll say. So this is one of the things that I like the coal forge for, is that I can get those heats just on the edge like that. I don't have to heat the whole thing up, and you know, I could use a torch if I wanted to, but the coal forge is pretty easy to just set it up. You just gotta watch it. Don't let it get sparkly. I think I saw a couple sparkles there.
Lisa,
Hi. You're kind of breaking up there, Kellen. Can you ask that again?
yeah, Charlie's asking exactly what are your frustrations with stainless steel?
With the stainless steel, it's not as fluid to work with, so it's very hard. It's like working with tool steel. Tool steel is a lot harder than the mild steel. Stainless steel is also really hard. So I don't know. I have small bones. My wrists hurt when I work on stainless, so I tend to stay away from it.
Rick Dunkerley says it's a godless, soulless material.
I think I might agree with him on that.
Pretty good.
How does everybody feel about aluminum? I know a lot of people hate it, but it's pretty fun to forge, I think.
I don't have a whole lot of experience with forging aluminum. I recently had an aluminum project I did some welding on, and that was learning curve.
Yeah, welding it is definitely not as fun as forging it.
Rochelle says it's fun.
Yeah.
Bart is asking if you prefer to work the design on the fly, I guess, versus coming at it with a good plan.
It depends. This sort of stuff, it's just like fun, you know. I do really like to work with the design on the fly type of thing. If I want to make something specific, on the other hand, like I don't know if when Ben was over at that table, you saw the sort of tree stump shape in the background. That one, that's gonna be a sculpture. And I am moving slowly with that one because I'm doing drawings and experiments with how I want the parts to go together and stuff like that. It's just in its sort of beginner inception stage, but yeah, that one's a little less on the fly. When I'm building things that need to be structural, or if I was going to take any of these smaller pieces and you know, apply them as a maquette to a larger sculpture, then I would extensively plan everything out, so as to not lose time or money, and to make sure that things would. Oh, the tongs, they're there. So that things would be safe and work. So,
if you've got a strong local metalsmithing community there, I know you had sent me a link and I just shared it again. The Southern Illinois
well, the Southern Illinois Metalsmiths Society is our student-run one, and what I didn't talk about when you were mentioning that earlier is that normally we would have had a conference this year, similar to NWBA, and had a demonstrator come in, you know, just like what we're all used to doing. But because of the virus, we couldn't really do that. understandably. So outside of the graduate students that I get to interact with, I haven't met a whole bunch of other folks out here. I do live right across the street from John Medvedev, who is a phenomenal artist, blacksmith, sculptor, designer. And that's really pretty. All right, I'm gonna mess around with how it's gonna sit, and then y'all don't need to see me wire wheel it, but I will do a wire brush wax finish on this.
I'm curious what kind of wax finish you use.
Okay, yes, thank you for saying it 100 times. I'm just gonna use Johnson's. Because of all the fire scale on this, I'm gonna use my hook brush on my angle grinder wire wheel. Almost. Are you yawning, Kellen?
Nope.
Hopefully, and that'll do it. Because hopefully, if I can't get this to sit still on the next heat, we're just gonna do the shop tour, and I'll mess with this off camera so that people aren't bored. Maybe. Oh. Son of a biscuit. Almost. Because the camera is on me. There we go. Hey, check it out. Cool. All right. That's kind of fun.
Oh, that was great, Lisa.
You know, so I really like this view. If I was going to choose a view of this, I like the underneath side. One of the things that Rick likes to talk about in our critiques that I always enjoy is the negative space that shapes make. So that's what I like about this one, is this and here, what happens on the inside of it. So if I was asked to choose a front side, that I would choose it for this front side. So I will wire brush that up and wax it, and I'm gonna forgo the bronze brush because I think I'd like to steal these days. So where shall I start? You guys want to see the big hammer?
Yes, please.
Dun, 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 dun. So this little sweetie was unhappy when I showed up here, and as the shop technician, it was one of my jobs to fix it. I'll show him the squisher too. Huh? Yeah, we can turn it on. So Gabriel's gonna turn on the machine because he has the key. So you guys can see it. I mean, so we took this machine apart because the cylinder head and the ram was stuck up in the cylinder head. Nobody wants that, do they? So we took it apart and hand sanded everything inside and got it to sit. Okay. So it's the 3D Giselle here. So I saw in the chats people were asking, this is a 3D nasal. And Gabriel was pointing at us. I don't think you guys could hear him, but Ben and I took it apart and put it back together successfully. So
I was saying thank you. Sure looks like it's running better than it was.
Yeah, considering it wasn't running. Yeah, it's pretty great. We played around with it after we got her up and running, and she's pretty happy. Also, you notice this beautiful blue machine here. 200 ton? 100 ton squishimatron hydraulic press. I thought it was 200. I don't know.
It's possible. Once you get up above 100, it really doesn't matter.
It's a big squishy. So that's fun. We have this big forge over here next to the nasal. We've got some TIG machine, plasma, MIG machine. I bought that little TIG there. Other sanding equipment, sandblaster. Yeah. What is the cycle rate on the press? What is the cycle rate on the press, fellas? Here, let's look at the. I don't know how to answer that question. I don't know how to answer that question to the person who asked. Is any of this looking familiar, Joe? Up and down, that's funny. So we've got this nice iron worker here, also English wheel that I haven't tried yet. Looking forward to that. There's a shaper. This nice lathe here, metal lathe, bandsaw, tool cage. We all get these. We each get these lockers. 5 gas forges. How many? I mean, 5 coal forges. Excuse me. 3 gas forges. I'm just used to saying that. My phone is shutting down. No.
Hey everyone. Looks like we might have lost Lisa right there at the end, but what a great demo. Lisa, thank you so much. If you can still hear us, everything was great.